All right. I'm Matt. That's also Matt, or we can call him Ben, either way. This is a little bit different. We're doing a quick little podcast, so to speak. I wanted to actually use the podcast format that we have for Spotify and reach out to more places. And I want to do shorter content form because, man, streaming something like SmackDown is just mind numbing during the commercials.
It'd
So
kill
that's
us.
that's what we're doing with this. And we thought, what a better place to start than the unfortunate news of all the releases, um, senseless releases in my opinion, but releases nonetheless. So this is gonna be the first one like this. We're gonna do other topics that come to mind, whether it be releases, storyline stuff, whatever. And hopefully we can knock out a few of these a week and keep content coming in a way that makes some more sense and is a little bit easier to digest. Nevertheless, let's kick it off and throw it over to Ben. What's up, Ben?
Hi. This podcast could be brought to you by part of this complete breakfast of Frosted Eats. Oh, and the Cody Road shirt I like finally came.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks. The first time I saw that, I'm like, that's a badass shirt. I'm not normally a skull and fire person, but I I don't know. This one was just like, yes, I will do that. I'm not gonna do the red, white, and blue because uh, I'm not that kind of like rah patriotic.
Right.
I love it here and all, but I I, I just can't do it. Just because again it's in the politics and politics. I don't like. Anyways,
Fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough. Uh, nice. Nice on both accounts. I'm all for whoring ourselves out. I'm okay with that. It's fine. I am not opposed at all. So run
I
with
would
it.
love to be sponsored by Frosted Geeks.
Yes. Even just
I
more
I
boxes of
will.
frosted yeets, I'd take
I
that.
haven't gotten to try it yet. I should be able to tomorrow. Hell, I might have a bowl tonight just as a late night snack. Just finally try it because I got two boxes. I don't have to open both of them.
Right.
But I need to eventually try it rather than keep going like, yeah, I'd love to be sponsored by this, and then you try it and you're like, it's
Oh,
not
this is
that
the
good.
worst cereal ever created.
Yeah, just like I love the concept. It's great. I want to support Jay, but
Right. All right. So we are here to talk about the releases, which
yeah,
we saw that they were releasing some people like backstage wise earlier in the day. To then find out, well, there are some content or some content. I'm sorry, I'm on. I'm looking for the list currently. My bad. Uh, some actual wrestlers being released as well, and some notable ones that we actually, like, which is sad.
yeah.
It's always sad either way, but so I guess there also may not be done for what we understand, and this is being recorded at 11:12 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, May
So
2nd, right after SmackDown.
right. So do you want to jump in as I find the list and talk about some of the ones that stuck out to you?
Uh, yeah, because I got at least a partial list off of Instagram here. Um, Someone that's been kind of right on it. Um,
I should have been more prepared.
yeah,
I had this list.
yeah. I mean, I got a total of 8. I might be missing some people. I think one of the biggest shout outs to get out, not exactly out of the way, but go with first is like Shayna Baszler because one of our wrestling friends that goes to shows that's her girl
Yeah.
guy, however you want to put it,
Right.
and that's really that's really sad. Like that, I wouldn't wish that on anyone because wouldn't want to see it happen to myself. But in a way, it kind of did. I mean, one of my actually probably my favorite NXT tag team of Lash Legend got separated from Jakara Jackson getting released, and that was kind of a shocker because I felt that tag team seemed to have a lot of juice, a lot of support behind them. Uh, they were a cool mix. They were they were doing tag team combo moves like the old fashioned tag teams used to do in like the 80s and 90s.
I need to
And
get another table.
just poof. that's now or with, and Lash Legends out on her own, which be, being one of the big females, she'll do well. I was interested to see them both go on to solo careers in the future, but I didn't think that time was coming up so soon.
Right.
Um,
As it relates to Shayna Baszler, she's gonna go and literally kick ass somewhere. So it sucks. We can talk about why or how that happened in a moment. Double back quickly to Jakara Jackson. Um,
mhm.
the sucky part was is you could progressively just see how much better she was getting in the ring. Like every week, every match was just that much better. She would just progress that much more and more. And that tag team was a tag team. And like you said, they had a move set. They wrestled for the titles. They were um, everywhere you could expect them to be. They were bouncing from place to place, very much the same
Yeah,
way as Gigi was as well. And we'll get to her in a second. So to see
that
them having such a push and being bounced from place to place,
that was, yeah. You brought up a good point. I forgot about that. They were showing up at, like, what was it, Raw or SmackDown,
yep,
and being in the stands and taunting the champions there,
mm-hmm.
and really being a part of that scene. And it's just such a, it looked like a huge push for NXT stars, like they were even doing with Roxanne Perez,
Yep,
and then just one of the two just gets tossed out.
yep. Well, staying with that, so bring her back up if you want to, of course. But we're going to look at
Mhm.
another couple of names here, and Caden Carter and Katana Chance both get released. There's another tag team I know you're not as familiar with. Uh,
Only
undersized,
the
but
only
they
reason I'm
also
not familiar with them is because they haven't been using them as
well
much, so
they
I haven't
they
been
bounce
seeing
around a
enough.
little bit, and you see them, and I think they don't stick with you for some reason. They're the ones that came out with like the smoke guns and stuff like that. They're the club girls essentially that
I
like to
see
party
them.
and dance.
I do remember them, but I just don't see. I didn't. I wasn't seeing them enough.
Right. But when you do, you'd have noticed that they have a lot of specialized tag team moves as a
Mhm.
team. And I'm kind of, excuse me, kind of getting a roundabout way of pointing something out here. So, but they have a unique tag team set of moves. As you said, Legend and Jackson also were having their own unique tag team set of moves. They were wrestling everywhere. Gigi Dolan, one of my favorites on the scene. Haven't seen her live in a long time. Probably WrestleMania weekend back when we would WrestleCon and stuff like that. But she was the nicest person ever uh, at her merch table and stuff like that. Talked and was very very cool for a long time. She was teaming with Tatum Paxley. Um,
And then Shotzi was being like their third
right.
in that grouping.
But what I'm just getting at here is you've essentially eliminated three women's tag teams in one set of cuts.
Yeah,
You have a women's tag division with the women's tag belts, and you've eliminated three teams that were defining themselves as teams with move sets just,
three. Yeah,
out of nowhere. So that division now has like two teams in it.
yeah. You had three legit teams with synergy, because I
Mm-hmm.
believe you about Carter and Chance.
They probably had the most
Um,
synergy because they've been a tag team for the longest. Um,
yeah, and so you had depth there, and now you don't. You just thinned it way the hell out.
yep. It's so weird to see that happen. I don't know what it means for the tag division for women as it is. Maybe they're figuring they don't need to use them because the belts aren't going to be defended in a while since Liv is going off to film a movie. I don't know, but it's just wild that they just gutted that division like
Yeah,
that in one swoop. Um, Other notable releases we saw was Dakota Kai. Um,
she just came back.
yeah, yeah, that's
She
a.
didn't like just get injured again or something, did she? She's healthy,
She
isn't
seems
she?
healthy, and she's got lovely curly hair out of nowhere. That was another thing. She threw up her new look on Twitter or Instagram today, where she got her natural curls back. So a slightly different look than normal, but yeah, she's healthy. She should be good to go. Braun Strowman was an interesting one. He just recently came back. He also got cut.
He just made Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
He just like put him over in this huge way of just
A big man
Fa-
battle.
yeah, Fatu smashed the shit out of him. Didn't make Braun look weak, just made Fatu look strong, and it's just a battle of the monsters. They put the strap on Fatu, and then they just go like, "All right, well, Braun, you did your part. Bye." Use him to build more. He was great in that spot where it's just like there's this mountain for them to climb and get past, and then get to these people that have this high amount of attitude, like Fatu, like LA Knight, and just like make this mid card where it's just as big as the upper echelons with like the Cena, the Cody Rhodes, so that it isn't like so much they seem like, oh, they're just dwindling in the mid card. It almost makes it where it's like up to like levels of like the Attitude Era where you're like, holy shit, I can't wait to see these mid card matches because they're just as fucking awesome, if
Yep.
not better today.
Yep. I mean, because they
And
had character. They
yeah,
each had their own unique thing about them. Somewhere in the mid 2000s, the mid card and some of the people all just kind of looked the same, sounded the same, did the same stuff, and you were
yeah.
really having these styles. And Braun stood out as his own style, and his own look, and he was a big guy that could put on decent matches. And now he's just gone.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they of course built him up with being part of the Wyatt family, but that just gave him a lot of exposure to learn how to work in the business, and then
you went back a ways for
go.
that one.
Well, yeah, well that's kind of where I remember him getting built up from, and then
But yeah, but he once he left the Wyatts, I mean, he was a monster anyway.
well,
Still,
well, yeah. I'm just saying, that's
right? I mean,
where I remember him coming up
that's
from.
a good play. Don't get me wrong; it's a good pull. It's a good pull. There's tons of people that were, part of the No Way Jose conga line, and ton of rosebuds from before you were watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, um,
So the other one to bring up, Cora Jade.
yeah, I'm
Like,
bummed about that one. She's one of my
sh-
girls. I enjoyed her
yeah,
a lot.
she was very much in the women's scene for NXT. Like it seemed like they were building her towards, well, it was kind of always going for the women's titles and being in the mix. And
Yeah.
they kind of started to seem like they were using her a bit more. Like maybe they're gonna push her
Well, she
as
came back
like
from
one of the
injury.
next opponents. Yeah,
She has some of that bad luck with ACL type stuff,
yeah.
where I think she actually got hit with two major injuries in her time in NXT. And I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure she had two setbacks at least. And
Oh,
but she seems healthy and ready to roll right now.
yeah.
And if you're gonna bring Roxanne to the main roster, Cora seems like a logical person to be in there. But I guess
she kind of she kind of in a way sort of like takes over like that spot, like just her attitudes
they've
similar to
brought
Roxanne,
in
so if
hindsight
Roxanne goes up,
they brought so many people in. They really have, if you think about it, between Jordan, Julia, Stephanie. They're finally getting a healthy Solruka, so they're pushing her.
yeah.
Is she Australian? Who's
Oh,
Solruka's?
Zarya.
Yeah, Zarya. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, they got Jordan Great. They got so many women down there that are badass. Come to think of it, that
Well, you know what, the four of them that came in there, like I don't know. I see them there and I just wonder how long can they stay just there at NXT. Like all four of them seem like they're like poised to be like be there. get a little attention, go like, okay, get people that are familiar with them, and move them on up. And
They used to hold people down there a little longer than they do nowadays. I feel like the days of the Finns and the Oscars, and even like when
yeah,
Shayna was there the first time, you'd have runs down there where you're champion for a year or half a year,
I,
and you really get yourself established down there first. I don't necessarily know that's the case anymore.
that makes sense for like someone who isn't already kind of established.
Asuka and
But
Finn were established.
okay,
They were both New Japan major stars.
okay.
Um,
So for those two, well, I mean that's what they did then, which
I
yeah,
think
I don't
then
know.
the idea was to help bolster this brand as a brand, so to speak, with those
Well,
two down there. Well, not just those two, but I mean, Samoa Joe was down there for a while.
yeah.
Kevin Owens. I think, but they did that because they wanted to make the brand its own thing. And I feel like if they wanted to stay successful, they should continue to do that. Not send somebody up immediately over and over again.
Well, yeah. So maybe that could be part of the reason of justifying some of the cuts. You have those four that are going to stay here and just maybe that's the thing where they feel like they have to revitalize NXT where they're getting more eyes on it, like more people wanting to just watch it from week to week. Because kind of when I came back to this and started watching everything again religiously, NXT didn't really have the vibe that.
Because you started back at NXT 2.0.
Well, yeah, it did. Yeah, it didn't have the vibe that NXT with Asuka and Finn did.
And
But
the Four Horsewomen were down there at one time. The very first show I went to, I think it was one of the first ones they traveled at. Bliss was still managing uh, Buddy Matthews and his tag partner. And Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and Bailey were in a fatal four-way match. Pretty sure Finn wrestled Joe or Steen. Ty Dillinger was still doing his 10 thing down there at the time. But like there was such an array of talent. And I think they were trying to make it its own thing, which worked because that's what made me watch. I enjoyed that a million times over than the main roster at the time. Oh, and
yeah,
Paige, obviously.
I mean that's how you got me actually watching that at the time, and I did not care about the main roster at all. You were hyping me up about this stuff. I'm like, I'll come over and watch, and I was not disappointed.
Yeah, it was way better. There was some funny stuff going on the main roster with Dolph at the time and AJ Lee and that kind of stuff. But that's about it. The rest of it was really, really not that entertaining to me. So, but moving on, not dwelling too much on one thing. It looks like Eddie Thorpe may have been released.
Yeah, I keep seeing that rumor, but I haven't really seen anything really official.
Right. And
Like
I don't
even
put it
this,
past them. Don't get me wrong. They love to
yeah,
cut people mid storyline. They did that with Alistair.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, from what I got here, I mean, yeah, someone could slip through the cracks and they not realize that they're cut, but they
Just don't
might not
answer the
be put
phone.
they might not be putting it out there just yet, because maybe they're unsure if the rumor's true or not yet.
They should have gotten a call by now. That's the point. That all the wrestlers talk about getting the call essentially.
Yeah,
So, but and then we talked about it briefly, but also Gigi Dolan
yeah,
being cut. So, and there's still rumor that still some more rumors out there that some more might get cut as well. So, um, I think the big takeaway is that I'm just bummed they gutted the whole women's tag division.
yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing they hurt, because if you take away the women that either the entire tag team and then the two others that were one half of the tag teams, if you take away those releases, the rest of them are like individual cuts, and it's just like, oh, that's a bummer with all of them.
Yeah,
Uh, but it
they
doesn't it
gotta.
doesn't affect everything as much as you wiped out a tag division.
I just dawned on me they gotta re. Well, they Shayna Baszler was with Zoe Stark. That's another one that could have been a tag team going for belts. Now they got to pretty much repackage Zoe.
If they don't cut her too,
Right.
if we're since we're hearing the rumors of they're not done yet.
I want to look up the ages of everybody here.
Oh, and who is the third banana with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven?
Elba Fire?
Yeah, her tag team partner had gotten cut a couple months ago. They might not necessarily be like, we don't really need her to be playing a second security guard. They could end up cutting her too. I don't want to see that, but it could.
They could.
There are a couple of
Um,
places they can trim some, fat, as as terrible as an analogy that is, but
I'm just doing some quick searches here. Is this like an age thing? Are they just cutting people because of age? What are we doing here?
this should Kurt. I wouldn't think Carter Jackson would be all that old.
No, that's a good point. Her and I think Cora's been in NXT a long time, but she's not very old either.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought she was young too. I thought she was
She's
like mid-20s.
24.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that was kind of the running thing. Like for the longest time, I felt like NXT, and she fit the bill. Don't get me wrong. The minute you hit above 25 and you were still in NXT, you better look like you look younger than 25. That's kind of how I felt NXT was functioning. Um, if you were down there, it was almost like if you're a minor league baseball player and you hit like 28, 29, you really got to start reevaluating what you're doing. I say don't. I say go for your dream no matter what.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'd already say like you're at NXT. All you gotta do is,
that last step.
yeah, just catch fire there, get hot, and
Damn.
then you're
Jakara
on Raw or
Jackson is
SmackDown.
29. I never would have guessed that. Damn.
Yeah, I don't consider that like too old. I mean,
Either
you
do
still
I, but I'm
got,
just saying
got
I felt
plenty.
like that was the notion during NXT. And sometimes I think it might have been Cora herself one time asked, is 25 too old to be in NXT still? Like she may have it's almost like being like 26, 27 in college. Like, do I still belong here?
Oh yeah,
That type of deal.
it's kind of like me how I yeah, sort of in a way held myself back in high school for the carpentry program. It felt a little weird.
Right. And that's what I'm wondering. Don't get me
That's
wrong.
cool.
Every
I,
one of the people cut today are badasses that deserve to be on screen somewhere.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, even if you felt a little old in those positions, I mean, if you're working towards a goal, part of your trajectory of your career, what you want as a career, it's worth it. Do
I,
it. It doesn't matter if you're the old person.
I'm not saying that they left for that reason. I'm just wondering if WWE is like, well, we think you need this much time left in development. You're here. By the time you get to that point, you're going to be at this age. Like the business decision end of it, which sucks, but we see it in sports all the time. Look at the Patriots, man. Belichick wouldn't re-sign anybody that was 30 or older.
You know, after like say like Dakota Kai or Cora Jade coming back, and if they get hurt again, then I could see them getting released and going like, all right, well, we tried again, you got hurt again, so that's just it for now. Good luck, mend up, and maybe we'll see you again down the road or whatever. But right after they both come back, they're healthy, they're getting in matches, get back into the swing of things, and then just bye.
Yeah, that's a typical move for them. That's how they do things.
So weird.
Yeah. So I mean, they're all relatively young. The oldest, I'm assuming, is going to be Braun Strowman.
Probably.
Um,
And it just seems weird with Braun, but I mean, not to say that like we couldn't see him back sometime soon, because I mean he can just come in and help make stars, because
right.
he was just doing that as he came back.
So, but Cora, like I said, I believe was 24 this
Yeah,
year, turning 25. Uh, PK is 27. These people need to be on the main roster. This was a screw up. I don't like almost any of these cuts. Um, personally, not just because they're cuts, but like there's a lot of talent here. I'm going to benefit because I'm going to be able to hang out with these people now at WrestleCon in a year. So don't get me wrong. I'm going to
or
go stand in Cora Jade's Alani Black, her line at WrestleCon for sure. And I'm going to go chill and re-meet Priscilla Kelly again at WrestleCon. So I'm going to benefit from this. But
and
these cuts
also
suck.
potentially our indie scene, because our indie scene here in our area is pretty good with these two schools. So
Right. The thing about it is, uh, I could see Priscilla Kelly be in the area because of the Rascals connection. Maybe more out towards Toledo than us because we
yeah.
don't get the Rascals here. Well, Mega might pull in someone because Mega's more open to work with the Rascals. It seems like.
Hmm.
I think because of the lack of a competing school scenario. I could be wrong. I have no idea for certain on that. So Gigi could be in that scenario, or I'm sorry, Priscilla could be in that scenario. Cora's, I think, been mostly south and west. I don't know if Cora's ever been, or Alani Black has ever been in this area outside of maybe like New York. I honestly don't think she had much of an indie run. I think she got snatched up pretty quick. I have to double check on that, but I don't think very much time in this area if that's the case. But any of them can pretty much pick what they want to do next, including Jakara Jackson. They can all pretty much do what they want to do. Um,
Yeah.
so and none of them are. Braun is 41. Everyone else, go do what you want to do. Like you have a chance to do like Cardona says and reinvent yourself and or just go back to the character you had and take what you learned from the performance center and just uh, go from there essentially and just kill it. So
They also have multiple places they can go. I mean, who's to say AEW doesn't pick any of them up? TNA.
TNA
Um,
is the interesting one because I don't know if I guess if you want to be in that system and you're not constantly bitter about stuff like being cut unexpectedly, like that's me personally. Like if I get cut, if my dream was to be in WWE, I guess I'd go back to TNA. But if you re-enter TNA, what are you doing? I feel like you're entering into another pathway tree back to WWE with the way their partnership is right now.
yeah, but that's now. I mean, we don't know how long that partnership's gonna last. TNA might find it not worth their time eventually anymore.
I think they're going to get a great rub on ratings. I think that's you're not going to be able to argue that. I think the only thing that could happen is that if WWE continues to poach their talent, then
Or
that would get old real fast.
or the stuff where the WWE talent comes over there and goes like, we want our guys to go over, where like it just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, well, they could do the job, but it doesn't make any logical sense to be doing that.
Right.
So, if that starts to get old, where it's just like, we're just putting we're just having our guys lose to your guys, and then you're poaching people.
If that happens. So far, it's been a
Yeah,
pretty good back and forth, except I hate to say it, but the people they sent to TNA were Tatum and Gigi, and they sent Cora. These are all people they've cut,
Trick Williams showed up there too. He
right?
interfered in a match just
Trick did,
recently.
yep. And I'm blanking on another guy that was over there too. Who was it? I'm blanking. I'm blanking. Oh, and the tag champs. Uh, A Kid and I'm sorry.
Uh, Fraxium.
Yeah, Fraxium. I keep going back to his actual first name.
Yeah,
Um, that he had. Uh, so I guess not everyone that goes there, but it felt like they were sending people. Apparently, they had little interest in, or they were trying to do. I don't know, because they were just like you said, they were all just on Raw. Like almost every one of these people that got cut were flirting with the main roster literally less than a month ago in some cases and 2 weeks ago in other cases. And
yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and then from WWE's side of it, it looks like they're flirting pretty heavily with Joe Hendry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
And
think Trips has already said, you'll be back here. This won't be your last WrestleMania.
yeah, and not that that sounds like a threat, but that almost sounds like eventually he's just going to be on the WWE roster, because, I mean, he already had a relationship with him before he blew up as Joe Hendry. He played the lawyer for who again? I'm forgetting. I remember him telling the story like he was there for something else, and it's just like, okay, who's trying out to be the lawyer for someone, and he raised his hand, and he got the job over the guy that was actually there for it. He
It's a
just
bold
lied and
move.
got the gimmick.
It's a bold move.
I forget what I keep wanting to say. He was like a lawyer for Rusev, but I don't. That's
Could have been.
wrong. I'm pretty sure. Um, I don't know. It'll come to me after we're done recording this, but um, he's already got that relationship. He's worked with them before, and he did a good enough job to get hired to get the spot over the guy that was really there for it. So yeah, I mean, if they end up poaching him, it's good. It's not gonna make TNA too happy, unless it's just like, well, he's on our roster, but he's gonna go over there and work with you guys a whole bunch, so you don't feel like we stole him. If they do that, maybe it softens that blow, and they're like,
Or they just wait
all
for his
right,
contract to run out and sign him legitly like they did Jordan Grace.
yeah. However, that still seems like a poach.
Yeah, it's gonna feel that way though,
It
because
it
that's what they're gonna continue to do.
Yeah, that's just what that's gonna like. They
But I
can
don't think
justify it
TNA's.
and try to be the good guy as much as they want. It's
We
gonna look
could
bad.
we could dive into this at another time. It's a whole nother
Yeah,
topic.
it
But
is.
is TNA does TNA accept the fact that they're a stepping stone, essentially a place where some talent wants to use to get back to WWE or not? Like, is that something that they're okay with? But that's a whole different topic because there's a lot of avenues to branch down with. I think that sums it up. I mean, we're gonna stay up to date on any other releases. We got the Gallus has been released too. Apparently, I only seen that in one spot though. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know much about them because they weren't being used that much in NXT since we've started watching. They've made a couple appearances, but nothing major.
yeah. I was concerned about Nikita Lyons because that's one of my girls in NXT, but before we had started this, you were telling me it looks like she might have got kicked down to Evolve,
She made a
and she was
mention.
just on. was it TNA as an
Yeah.
appearance?
Now, someone had posted she had been knocked down to Evolve, or she made. I think she actually made a post saying that she was going to go down and check out Evolve. Um, I haven't seen anything saying that actually happened, but it does
Yeah.
look like she has appeared at a TNA taping. So that part is seemingly accurate from what I can tell from the videos.
Yeah, she had a post on Instagram about it was kind of like a encouragement thing, like, we're all gonna eventually rise or something to that line. I'm forgetting it. I'm not
Right.
quoting it at all here.
Yeah, we just got done
Um,
watching SmackDown, so we really didn't prep for this as much as we babbled about some of the cuts, about some of the
yeah,
local shows coming up, and watched SmackDown. So we really didn't have any notes prepared. We just figured we wanted to jump in and actually record something
we had a
with all the.
collage of opinions of what happened, and sorry, just bumped my mic, and just wanted to sit down and record it, just
Yep,
go through it.
yep. This way I can throw this up on YouTube and I can throw this up on Spotify. I also wanted to work on the background of my recording here. Been meaning to do that for a while. I was going to do that during SmackDown, and then boom, we have all these releases and no focus on what needed to get done. So that's
Yeah,
on me.
there's a
But
wrench in the productivity.
I think there's a strong chance we see a lot of these people back down the road, especially the Cora Jades if they stay healthy. And even, I feel like if they were going to do something with Gigi, they would have done it. Like, she didn't come in raw. She came in having wrestled for years already. I think she just lost her steam when Mandy got fired the first time and then rebounded, but never got up to the main roster. Because she was part of Fatal Attraction with Mandy Rose before Mandy went off to do her OnlyFans career, which good for her. She made way more doing that than she would have done staying on the roster.
Yeah,
So I don't blame
go
her for that.
go get that bag.
Yep. So but then Gigi had to go and redefine herself again, and she kind of kept the same character. They just moved her over to a different scenario, and it worked out again. But
They were seeming like such a good stable, and then poof,
that
you
whole
could say
Chemical
this.
X thing going on with Shotzi, it was perfect.
Yeah, it was great. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you scratch that itch of anyone that kind of likes that
The
kind
alternative
of,
group.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
alternative group. What all all the tags you want to say, scratch that itch. Yeah,
Yeah, and very much a different look, and they went ahead and just destroyed it. So, anyways, we're gonna cut it here because I wanted to keep this between 20 and 30 minutes. We're at 37 minutes now. I want to keep these shorter in nature. We'll probably do a couple more topics tomorrow and put those out across the week as we go. However, is there any closing thoughts you want to talk about real fast about the in summary?
uh, I don't think there's anything more than what we've been saying. We're starting to repeat ourselves
Yeah,
here. It's
that's another
just
reason why I'm like it's a good time to stop it.
wish them all the best and hope we see them back down the road and in good positions. I
Yeah,
don't
same.
love
Hope they
seeing
go get
cuts.
themselves go make themselves some money. Hit up any indie promotions or any major promotions they wanted to hit up that they couldn't do well under contract. Whether it be their favorite ones that they hit when they were coming up, or whether it's if they had a dream of going to New Japan or something like that, go do it now.
Yeah,
Go.
make yourselves undeniable.
That's that's new saying now too, huh?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
motivation. Go do it.
yeah, but yeah, just go have fun and go hit up anything you haven't done that you wanted to do because you couldn't do it while under contract with WWE. And
Yeah,
this is a great time to be an indie wrestler still. I feel like 5, 6 years ago was even better, but I think now's a good time too. So
yeah. Indies are still pretty strong right now.
they seem like it, but
Yeah,
uh, with them a couple major promotions at the same time instead of one, I think that actually hurts the indies a little bit. The indies were so super strong because so much talent was stuck in the indies because there's only one major brand. But as soon as there was 2 to 3 major brands,
yeah.
but
We have the one juggernaut, and then I think we got like three uh, good brands that kind of are sitting underneath them.
right now, yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, that's a topic for a different day. Those were the cuts. We'll keep up to date on any other additional ones going forward. But that's it for now. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.